simple, healthy, homemade ice cream where you control all the ingredients. And this entire pint can just be 250 calories with 25 grams of protein if you use this recipe and use this machine. Well, what the heck is this? Well, this machine here is called the Ninja CREAMi. And in this video, I'm going to show you my simple 4-ingredient recipe where you can make homemade ice cream every single day, completely guilt-free, and actually be good for you. Now, I am an ice cream lover first and not a big protein powder person. Well, until recently. I like ice cream so much that my wedding cake was an ice cream cake. When buying a house, I wanted it to be close, walking distance to an ice cream parlor. That's how much I love ice cream. And since buying this machine, I now have ice cream almost every single day that's homemade and healthy. Basically how this machine works, well, you're gonna mix up a bunch of ingredients into this little pint container, and then you're gonna have to freeze it overnight. After it freezes into a solid brick, let it defrost for maybe half an hour, and then you're going to put it in this machine, and then you're going to run it. Now, how this machine works, well, it's got this little blade here that's going to spin around, and it's going to basically shave that brick of ice and turn it into ice cream. And I'm not quite sure how it does it. It's kind of magical, really. It's like shaved ice, but it's also compressing it. It's got great texture and great flavor. I'm going to show you my go-to 4-ingredient recipe, and it's so simple. You're always going to have the ingredients around. The first ingredient in this is going to be protein powder, and you can see I've got a whole bunch of different protein powders that I've been trying over the past 6 months in preparation for this video. Now, I have found my favorite protein powder for this machine, PE Science. And you might be like, oh, so this is just a protein shake, but is ice cream gross? Well, if you think protein powder is gross, well, you might have the same frame of reference as me, because back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, that's when I used to have a lot of protein shakes. Those protein shakes I never looked forward to. They were kind of nasty. And nowadays, a lot of different brands have really upped their flavor game, and PE Science I found to have both the best flavor, but then also the best texture for this machine. And they get the best texture for a couple of reasons. The first is it uses a little bit of guar gum inside of their blend, which is going to help stabilize the mixture. And we're going to also add a little bit of other gum later on in the video as part of the recipe. But then the other key factor is it uses a combination of both whey and casein protein. And both of them have different consistencies when you mix them up with water. Casein ends up making for a little bit thicker and creamier texture, which is perfect when you're making ice cream. So PE Science is my go-to brand. I haven't found a flavor that I don't like, and I've even tried their vegan brand or their vegan blends. I like those as well. Those don't have casein protein because that's a dairy byproduct, but their vegan brand also blends up nice and flavorful. So now there's one other particular flavor that I want to recommend, blueberry muffin flavored powder. I've really liked this as well. It's great for mixing in really any fresh or frozen berry into your protein ice cream. It makes for a really nice treat. So Koss blueberry muffin is another protein powder that I've really liked. But my favorite by far is PE Science, and I must have bought 15 pounds, 20 pounds of PE Science protein powders and testing them all. And I just really enjoy this stuff. So if you're interested in any of the stuff that I'll be showing in the video, be sure to look in the description for links, and hopefully I have a coupon code from PE Science that can get you a discount on this stuff as well. So let's go ahead and start making some ice cream. So this recipe is so simple because it's 4 ingredients, and 2 of the ingredients are just dry ingredients that once you have, you can just buy, and they just kind of sit on your shelf until you're ready to make it. And the next ingredient after this is going to be some milk, and you can use plant-based milk. I have a mixture here of coconut and almond milk that I like using. And then the final ingredient is just flavor enhancer. So really you need to have these 3 things, and that's it. And then our flavor enhancers are kind of whatever you have lying around or whatever you want to try, because the possibilities with this machine are really endless, and you can make all sorts of different ice creams. And it's kind of cool that you're only making a little pint. So if you have a batch that didn't work out so well, hey, it's only a pint, so not a big loss. So all we have to do here is, first thing is just put in 1 scoop of whatever protein powder you want to use. And since this is PE Science, all I need for my gum is just going to be xanthan gum. If I was using a different type of protein powder, I would also put in a little bit of guar gum. Now, for the xanthan gum, I'm only put in 1/4 1/4 teaspoon of this. So this is not very much at all here. And let me just drop that in. And now on this pint here, there's kind of a fill line, and we're basically going to fill that most of the way with our milk. And again, I'm using plant-based milk here, but you can use dairy milk, kind of whatever milk that you prefer. Now we get to our flavor enhancers, and normally I will just add some coffee creamer to my mix here. And let me go ahead and just add this. I'm going to put in about 2 tablespoons. And that is going to be it. I'm going to just now mix this up. And I like using a stand mixer here. Okay, so I've got this all mixed up here, and you can kind of see actually how thick this mix is here. It's kind of dripping nice and slow like that. That is a really good sign. That's going to come out nice and creamy. And that thickness is really happening a lot from just that little 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum I put in. So definitely put in the xanthan gum. It makes a huge difference. And the last thing we got to do before we put this in the freezer overnight is you want to give it a little taste. And you know, if it's not sweet enough, you know, you could add more sweetener or any sorts of flavor enhancers to it. And that's really good. If you wanted to, you could add some cocoa powder to it, or this one here is this peanut butter mix. So I've got this peanut butter powder that you could use. That can also give it a nice flavor, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff. And that's one of the great things about this machine is all the different types of flavors and recipes you can experiment with. You can put in applesauce, you could put in coffee and make this a nice mocha. You can put in, you know, these little syrups that they sell for, I don't know, coffees and other mixed drinks. You can put those in, add a, you know, totally different flavor. You can put in some vanilla extract. You can put in fresh fruit. I've even tried pumpkin puree. That's made a really nice pumpkin ice cream, apple pie filling, all of that stuff. You can do all of it. And again, if it doesn't come out good, then you can just throw it out. It's only a pint. It's not a big loss, but you know, keep trying different things and find recipes you like, experiment around with it. It's really cool. So let me go ahead and put this in the freezer overnight, and we're gonna come back tomorrow and we're gonna blend this up and we're gonna make it into a really good ice cream treat. Okay, so it's been a day and I've pulled out all my ice creams out of the freezer here, and I've let them sit here for about half an hour. And I found about half an hour is a good time to let them defrost. If you don't let them defrost, sometimes around the outside, the machine won't get all of that, so it'll be a little bit icy around the edges. First off, I'm gonna pop open my ice cream, and you'll notice that there's a little bit of a mound here. Some people say you need to scrape that down. I haven't had a problem there, so I just normally run it just like that. And we're just gonna load it up into our machine here. So I'm gonna just drop this in, and then you just have to do a little twist so it drops down and locks in place. And then for the lid, I'm gonna just put this on, and then you kind of twist and it'll lock in place. And then next we just put it on the machine here and twist it up. And now we're ready to go. So I'll hit the power button, and we've got a lot of different settings that we can do. And we're actually gonna run this through this machine 2 times. And the first time, I always like running my ice creams on sorbet. And then the second time we're gonna do one using a light ice cream, and then we're gonna do another one looking at running sorbet again and just kind of check out the different textures. So let's go ahead and run this. And you're gonna also find this machine is really loud. So you might want to step into a different room while this thing is going. It runs for about 2 minutes. It being really loud, that's just a sign that it's working. We just finished our first spin, and let's take this out of the machine. So I'm going to press this button here and then twist this down. And now let's remove the lid and check out how this looks. So it looks pretty good so far. We're going to run this again though. It's got a little bit of an icy texture to it. And no matter how it looks, it might look a little muddy, it might look kind of like snow. I always will take a bite out of it, and then I'll see, you know, is the flavor good, even though the texture might not be here yet. So the flavor on this one is pretty good. I don't think I need any more sweetness. If I would, then I'd add maybe some more coffee creamer. For this, I'm gonna just add some milk. And this is gonna help make it creamier and lose some of the iciness that it might have on that first spin. So now all I have to do is just put this lid back on. I'll twist it here, put it in the machine and spin it up. Now, I have, you know, a variety of choices I can run again, and I always will either run the second spin either on sorbet again or light ice cream, and that's what I'm going to run this time. And we're going to see what that looks like in just a second. All right, it's ready. Are you ready? Let's check it out. Now this is the light setting, and as you pull it off, oh, look at that texture here. This is real good. You see how creamy this is, and got a cup here where you can see how nice and scoopable this ice cream is here. Just, it's got a nice thickness to it, kind of good amount of airiness. Let's go ahead and try this out. That tastes like real soft serve ice cream, and the texture of it is just so nice. So after you run this, you need to clean this lid off, because if you don't, unfortunately some of this liquid can kind of get in the machine, and it can kind of be a difficult clean here. So all you have to do to remove that is there's this little button here that you just slide across, and that's going to unlock the paddle, and then you can kind of scoop this out, do another bite in, and then it's just a matter of cleaning it like normal. Remove this lid. Oh, and check that out. So this should be nice and thick here. We can get a nice scoop of ice cream out of here. And let's give it a try here. It's got just an amazing texture, and it is really good. Another thing you can make in the Ninja is fruit sorbets, and these are really, really simple. All you have to do is open up a can of fruit and pour its contents into the pint container, and then we're going to top it off with either juice or milk, blend it up, and then you freeze it overnight. And a great part about these is these can be really low calorie, but they also have a really, really good texture through this machine. Now, the calories are going to be dependent on the ingredients you use. Some canned fruit has sugar in the syrup, and other canned fruits have Splenda in the syrup. And using that syrup is totally optional, and you can swap that out for either your milk or your juice. And again, all you got to do is just blend it up and freeze overnight. So I like this machine so much that I've actually bought one for my mom, my mother-in-law, my sister, and some friends of mine that make ice cream with their daughters all the time. And with this, you can make ice cream every day because it's actually healthy. So if you have a CREAMi, well, post what your favorite recipes are in the comments below. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching.